It may not be.
Yeah, give it a good one.
Use this one.
Mark, that was one of the best presentations I have ever heard. Thank you.
That's nice to hear because he was very scared about me doing this presentation. He kept saying, well, I really don't want you to do this. I really don't want you to do this. I said, I have to.
No, that's something we really need to hear and we really need to act on. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Before we introduce the Harmony people, I do have to make one announcement. In your packets, you received an evaluation form. It's absolutely essential that you guys fill in those evaluations on each session because Optimist International, if we fill out all of the evaluations, they will give us $250. And I'd sure like to get $250 from Optimist International. So please fill out those evaluation forms.
They were in the back.
With a lot of lines on it.
It's a 2-page document that was included in your registration packet.
Oh, look how fast you are.
Yeah, it looks like this.
Oh, and so how do we go to showing?
Other more copies? I'll get you some more.
It's very important that you turn those in because your district is going to get $250 for sending me out here, but only if you turn in those evaluations.
And turn them in at where you registered or give them to me.
This is the do that.
Now I'd like to ask Greg to come up and introduce our guest from Sanford Harmony because he's the expert.
This is the presentation that's on the Mac.
I'm not.
Good
I always
morning.
have issues with it.
At the convention, I introduced Sanford Harmony to the attendees there. And then we've had 2 articles in the Dispatch the last 2 months. And now finally we get to meet Margaret and Shannon.
That's the presentation.
Got that?
Yes, you got
Okay, Margaret Johnson and Shannon Smith.
So,
The 2 most common names in the world after Garcia. So I'll just turn it over to Margaret when she's ready.
I know we're getting ready.
we're ready.
We're almost clicking up there. So, and where is Mark? Mark, can we all please applaud for Mark again?
They did not know I was going to do that. I was hoping to talk to him before I did.
And we have the mic on. Oh, this is perfect. Well, thank you, everybody. Mark was actually talking about Z. We'll just give Shannon the clicker so she can control me. I like that. So Z, so we have Z. You have Margaret Johnson and Shannon Smith. I mean, and then look at us. You know, we're kind of like, well, we want to tell you 3 things about ourselves. And because Mark, you led us to that. It's all about relationships and telling our stories. And when I feel like my story is valued, no matter what group that I join, and Shannon and I are so blessed to work with Harmony and meet so many different audiences across the country, that welcoming and that how are we alike, how are we different, how are we unique is what makes us really want to be part of a group. So my name is Margaret Johnson. I am what's called a strategic accounts advisor from Sanford Harmony. You'll learn a little bit more about that today.
Just one second. So I've got evaluation forms if you need them, and got a few here to make more, but if you need some, let me know.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry about that.
And that's one thing. Second thing, I'm a former principal, staff development specialist, teacher, and I'm retired. But don't tell Danny Sanford that because I'm working full-time with Sanford Harmony now. And we'll talk about Denny today a little bit and our work. And my third thing is I was born in Ames, Iowa and grew up in Shenandoah. And so I feel like I'm home. I'm home. I'm in the Midwest. So thank you for being so welcoming.
Hello and welcome. I am so pleased to be here today. My name is Shannon Smith, and a little bit about me is I am the Strategic Accounts Advisor for the Central Region. So if you are in Minnesota, I would love to talk to you. I would actually love to talk to anybody, so I don't know why I just said that. I was an educator for 20 years and was really, really blessed to find Sanford Harmony, because this is, I think, the foundation for everything that we do as educators, as people in the community. Is really, really reaching out and looking at the whole person and celebrating that whole person. So happy to be here and excited to share what we have to offer.
And we also have Dr. Gabe from the back of the room. Gabe, will you please come up, because Gabe is here locally with us from Madison. Just 3 quick things about yourself, Gabe. We want to hear your story.
My story. My name is Gabe Midland, and my story is about to be made into a television show. No, I'm a native here of Brookings. I teach at Dakota State University in Madison, and I've lived here in South Dakota all my life, and this really is the best place in the world with the best people in the world. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for being here with us again. So we're going to just tell you, we know that you've seen a little in the newsletters about Harmony. So we're just going to share a little bit more. I actually live in San Diego and work at the Sanford Education Center at National University. I live in a little sweet little town called Cardiff by the sea. So I, though, get to work with the western states all the way over to South Dakota and North Dakota. So again, thank you. So you started as well, Mark, and I have to say we had so much fun meeting people last night and having the best ice cream I've ever had in my life. Thank you. Best dairy, and I had someone say if I wanted to join the dairy program, there was an opening for me, so I'm excited. So we are all about, Harmony is all about building healthy relationships among youth. You talked about it. How do we include others? How do we make everyone feel valued? So we can be the best collaborators, the best problem solvers, and we need to start young with our students. As a principal, this was the only way that I could turn around my school and my community. Everybody is of value. So we'll talk about schools, but we're going to share with you that Harmony is not just for schools. It's for all kinds of youth organizations. When we work with your schools, we talk about when children feel, when youth feel connected, respected. If you're a Z, if you can tell your story and you can share, you have a deeper purpose and your heart is more open to learning. The research shares that again and again. We'll share examples today. So again, we introduced ourselves briefly. We have a handout that we'll make sure to walk around. We're going to make contact with each of you today and give you that handout so you can contact us if you're in these regions. And we also have a Harmony contact that's working overseas, and that's in any of our international groups, and that is Reuben Lewis. So if you're from Canada, we're here for you as well. So here's our awesome Denny, and if you've met Denny, which I'm sure you have had contact with him, his eyes are always sparkling, and he likes to share that Harmony truly is one of his favorite projects. It's all about connecting students in classrooms, youth, and the work that you're doing with youth organizations. So we'll talk about Harmony. We'll share a little bit about Meet Up and Buddy Up, because we're going to do that today. You, Mark, shared some of our stories already and how Z is a central character, so thank you. And we'll talk about, you're probably going, well, how can I use Harmony with the work that we're doing? We'll do a little brainstorming around that. Shannon, do you want to take it away and share a little bit more about Harmony?
Yes. So as Margaret has beautifully said, Harmony is all about relationship building. So, Denny Sanford wanted to change the world one classroom at a time. one organization at a time, one youth group at a time, and really giving them that opportunity to build relationships within the classroom or within an organization. So what does that look like? That looks like us really celebrating one another, our commonalities and our differences. That we are empowered and able to be problem solvers, and giving them those opportunities. So many times we're taught, especially when we're young, when we get something wrong, maybe they feel shame, right? Oh, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm not good at it. No, that's an opportunity, right? We look at those as opportunities and really empowering the children to understand that. If kids are feeling more included, if they're feeling safe, then we know that learning or even their openness to hear what we have to say is going to totally expand and excel. So that is a huge part of this program. Within the program, you're going to see these 5 main unit themes. If you guys look over here, there are storybooks for the younger kids, and there are games and activities for older children. There's also some quick connection cards that we'll talk about later that are really fun, interactive, and again, an opportunity for us to connect and for the people that we work with to connect. So within those unit themes, you're going to see lessons on diversity and inclusion, empathy and critical thinking, communication, peer relationships, and problem solving. So there are some explicit opportunities through story, through games and activities, but also we're going to get that just in the fabric of us working together, having those meetings, buddying up, and things like that as well. So just some fast facts. The program is actually catered to pre-K through 6th grade students. You'll see that the quick connection cards and the everyday practices can be used across the board, but in terms of those lessons, you'll see that it's catered to that age group. It's at this point in over 9,700 schools and organizations. So it has expanded and grown really, really quickly over the last 3 years. The program is in some schools and organizations in North Dakota and South Dakota, Iowa, Chicago, Detroit, Dallas, Houston. So it's nationwide at this point, and we are just now starting to move it internationally. It's in after-school programs, Boys and Girls Club of America, communities and schools. So you see that the program is not just limited to schools. It definitely is used and really, really loved in a lot of different organizations. Along with that, there's a professional learning library, and within that professional learning library, you're able to access the curriculum online, and you're able to access all of those stories and that curriculum in Spanish. So another option. Multiple training pathways. So you will see that there's an online option to be trained on the program, and that might be something some of you would think about even just to get started. So we can guide you in the right direction in looking at that online training. There's an on-site option that lasts about 2 hours, and there's also a train-the-trainer format. So let's say you want some people in your Optimist Club to be masters, to really understand Sanford Harmony. There's also that opportunity as well. The program itself, so I'm from Arizona, right? And my dad went to ASU, so I'm kind of excited. Sanford Harmony was developed and researched at ASU between 2008 and 2012. And what they saw during that time is they saw a decrease in bullying and aggression and stereotyping. They saw an increase in achievement, school enjoyment, and empathy. The program is currently being researched at Johns Hopkins University, and there's a lot more research that's come out in its implementation stages. So all of you, there are folders over here that have evaluation guides, council competency, scope and sequence, some great things for you to look at and resources for you to see. So within there, you could read that evaluation guide with more research included. So let's go ahead, and I'd love to have you guys have the opportunity to look at Sanford Harmony in action. So this is a classroom in Las Vegas. And hold on one second. Do we have audio actually?
Yes, there.
Okay, great. Okay.
Just gotta get hooked up.
We'll get it going.
No problem.
Good. We're good.
You are good. Okay.
He is good.
Look.
Give Tim a hand.
So I think we gotta play it from there. Yeah, thank you.
Press the spacebar to select the highlighted option.
Yeah, why is it not?
If not, then we can move on.
Hear text on screen allowed.
You just change your output source.
Make items on the screen larger. On-screen keyboard. type without the keyboard.
I don't like how it's telling us what to do.
I know.
Sounds like some of our Oculus cards.
As we're figuring that out, I'm going to move on, and then we'll go back.
That's one key.
So in terms of why Harmony works, just talking about that. The program itself is an intentional relationship building program. So you will see that just the idea and the feel of a community it's going to build that sense of community and that sense of social responsibility among its members. It definitely will strengthen just your learning community and those relationships. You're going to see that there's lots of opportunities for us to really get to know each other on a deeper level. You'll also see that it aligns to CASEL and those social emotional learning competencies. So those are becoming more and more prevalent and important, especially in our education system. Making sure that we're doing that.
What's CASEL?
CASEL, basically it's a national social emotional learning accreditation program that researches a lot of the different programs that are out there and provides resources to districts, to parents, to everybody else. So CASEL.org is a wonderful site to go to if you're interested in learning more about social emotional learning. It's flexible and fits those students' needs. So you will see that the program itself, it can be adapted in a lot of different ways. So when you're looking at it, and even if you guys have an opportunity to look at the curriculum today, please feel free to ask questions so we can help cater to what maybe your club needs. And this is one of the best things. Thank you to Denny Sanford. All of the cost of the kits, so all of these materials up here, along with that training, comes to your organization at no charge. So, and I know that Optimist Club holds a very, very special place in Denny Sanford's heart. So he's very excited that we're here today talking to you. I was a Montessori teacher with 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, right? And then there were some things that were across the board pretty normal, right? Their teeth are bigger than their head. It's a little warm in Phoenix, so we're going to have a conversation about deodorant, right? At that age, so developmentally, there are some things that are very normal. They're pretty on point for everybody. But what this program really serves to do is to celebrate not only those commonalities, but also the differences in us. Whether that be communication style, right? It's okay for us to communicate differently. Or our culture and language. That's not a bad thing. That's an opportunity to learn more. Learning and really dealing with and talking about maybe some average child experiences so that we feel like we're not alone. So giving us an opportunity to build that supportive community through activities that are happening on a regular and consistent basis in the classroom or in the organization. It is a CASEL Select program. So again, it's research-based, which is really, really important. And you'll see that there are opportunities for kids to really focus on self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. So, what are those toolkits all about? So look at Harmony in our classrooms. Within Harmony, there are 2 components. You will see that there are lessons and activities, and there are everyday practices. This is where that flexibility can kind of come into play as well. You may not have an opportunity to give a 45-minute lesson to a group of students or a venue for that, but you may be able to use it in different ways. There are also everyday practices, which I absolutely see integrating really nicely into your clubs. And so with that, you're going to see that there's a buddy up and there's a meet up, and we're going to have fun and engage today. I promise I'm not going to be talking to you the whole time. So what are those everyday practices? These are intentional relationship building strategies that are used. Meet up is basically an opportunity for us to get together and really work as a community and empower each other to be socially responsible. And then there's buddy up. Buddy up, basically, how it's framed is the students are paired and they're able to work together. They're either collaborating, they're engaged in conversation, they might be problem solving, but really giving them an opportunity to not be with that same buddy all the time, right? So stand up, find somebody new that you haven't met before, and have a conversation, right? Or stand up, find somebody that you haven't met before, and work together to build a paper airplane. You use your left hand, they use their right hand. Work together, communicate, right? All of these things, even though they're fun and they're like, oh, we built a paper airplane, that was awesome, right? I didn't do any work. They did do work, right? Because they were compromising, they were communicating, and they were really effectively working together. So why buddy up? It will bring diverse peers together that don't normally hang out. So it gives that opportunity for inclusivity and new friendships. You're able to discover commonalities and also celebrate those unique differences and gifts. And it will promote collaboration, caring, and empathy. It's really, really hard to be mean to your buddy on the playground when you guys have just been vulnerable and talked about who you admire most and why, right? So vulnerability is the secret sauce. And a lot of these quick connections are giving that opportunity for the kids to be vulnerable without even really realizing it. So with the quick connection cards, there are these boxes. So the blue box is for the early childhood, and there's a green box that's right here. Margaret's going to be that away. And those are for the upper grades. You'll see the quick connection cards for the upper grades are also used in middle school and high school programs. Even adults use them. They're great. Within there are conversation starters, collaborations, and community builders. So now we're going to encourage you guys to buddy up. So I want you, if you can, stand up and find somebody that you haven't met before. Or haven't talked to today. Yeah, that might be more realistic. And I'd love for you to have this quick conversation. What is your superpower? You ready to share? We'll have how about 3 minutes? 3 minutes for this quick connection. Ready, go. And 1. One of my favorites. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
There we go. The train came in for you.
Interrupting all this great conversation.
And we're going to have them share it. Yeah. Okay.
So now it's time to share. Would anyone like to share?
Well, let's start up here. I'm thinking.
Okay, hold on, Margaret.
And this is a perfect example. My new friends up here, Dawn and Zach. Dawn said, now wait a minute. What's a superpower? It was a perfect example of, we asked you to do something, but we really didn't explain it. So you might have known what it meant. If you're into the Avengers and everybody that has superpowers, we deal with kiddos a lot. So I said to Dawn, well, think of those special things in your life that you can do in your family or your community. They're all like none other. So Zach helped him out. We're going to have them share their superpowers first, and then we'll have a few more people share. Zach, what's your superpower?
Yeah, singing, dancing, and telling stories.
All at the same time.
I can't handle the dancing part very well, although when I was in high school I did pretty well. But the singing and the storytelling, I think he and I have a lot in common there. Because we both enjoy doing that and really had no idea that we could find that out about each other until we started talking to each other. So it was really nice experience.
He shared it for us. You found commonalities. Do we have any other singers or dancers or storytellers in the room? Yes?
Storytelling.
Yeah.
Tell
Not
stories
singing,
all.
but no dancing. Now the dancing.
No dancing.
Dancing bear.
Come on.
Do we have a few other people that can share their
Believe it or
superpowers?
not, I taught dance for several years.
We're finding out things today. Lunchtime, got a nice dance floor up here. Shannon, I'm also yes, we won't make you stand up here the whole time, but thank you for being vulnerable and sharing for us.
Would anyone else like to share their superpower?
Superpower.
Isn't it amazing through these conversations how you can all of a sudden, we were talking about singing and then we were talking about the loss of a friend and how I've also experienced loss recently, and that's what I'm thinking about. And it's amazing how this conversation can lead to so many different things, and you feel afterwards just that joy and that warmth and that connection with that person. How many of you felt that? I know I did. And thinking about these kids that we work with, it's just as important for them. And even in your Optimist Club meetings, this might be something that you use as a strategy. I don't know how many times faculty members, districts will say, can we use this in our faculty meetings? Of course. That's the perfect thing to do because we are the ones that are supposed to show the composure, right? Be the model for that. So who else would like to share? What is your superpower? Yes.
My superpower is I'm an introvert.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
People
I don't think humor is a superpower, but I really do think I'm a very creative person and a great collaborator. And I'm not the person that can make the list and follow a checklist and take the big ideas and turn them into action that gets you to the end. I need people that can do that. And but yeah, that was it. I shared that with CJ. He's also a big idea guy, and it was nice to be able to run into someone like that as well.
Wow.
And I'm not one at all.
I think you are. Everybody
My superheroes are my kids and my grandchildren. I lost my wife a year ago. That was my superpower. There wasn't anything I had to do. There are 53 years. I lost her. I lost a big boy. I can't tell you. My family, my kids have always been very close to me. But they came through higher than I ever thought they would. They know when to leave me alone. They know when to advise me. But I learned a lot more about my kids. So that's my superhero, my kids.
Vulnerability too.
Yeah.
Anybody else like to share? Sorry, I'm filled up right now. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Well, I didn't feel like I had any superpowers, but when I started talking to Teresa, we both connected on grandchildren.
Yes.
And how significant our relationships with them is in their development. And that we have helped them.
Yeah, thank you.
And as you share that, thank you for giving back to your grandchildren, to honoring your wife and your children. Those are the messages that are enduring and go on. I want to think that my parents know that every day I am here to serve others, because those are my greatest contributions at this part of my life. So, we're all gonna need to give a lot of hugs today. Yes.
I really have one comment I recall.
See, you have a lot in common now. Imagine this, you've got those new members, ask them what their superpowers are. Shannon and I are watching Harmony grow. We had 5 people. We had 5 people across the country 5 years ago. We have a staff now of about 80. So can you imagine we're expanding so quickly? We have to really build our relationships because we're out there on the ground and it's so important. It's like your work and reaching into the community. Here's another, well, I made her put this. I ate 3 scoops of ice cream last night.
It's so good.
That's a superpower.
That is a superpower. So there's more where that came from. Probably the best ice cream I've ever had, and a career too coming up. So this is a very simple, quick connection, and it went through your head. I know it did. What your favorite ice cream is. So. I wanted to share with you just a little bit about Harmony goals, because I made a connection right away to Optimist. I have to say, as a principal, I was very active with the Ocean Beach Optimist Club. That's where I was last a principal, in the Point Loma Optimist Club. You want to ask me about my success with oratorical contests or sending our kiddos to Sea Camp? I can't tell you enough about what all of our Optimist groups have done. So as thank you, because but I do remember our local group saying, why can't we expand in OB? Ocean Beach is this itty-bitty, artsy beach community. And I'm getting so many ideas. I promise, contact your local principal, get an audience, because we need you. We need you so desperately in our schools. So here's where I connected you with last night. We have something in Harmony called Harmony Goals. And those goals are how students in classrooms want to treat one another. How can we treat one another for the optimal way to be learners and problem solvers. And teachers and students create those goals. It needs to be a happy, safe, and supportive place to learn. So these are just sample goals. This is one of our little preschoolers, and they've decided that being kind, including everyone, encouraging others, this one's my favorite, listening with our hearts and minds, right? You talked about that today. I kept thinking about that, and I thought about the Optimist Creed. And we walked in here last night, and I just went, to make all your friends feel that like there is something in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own successes. So we're going to take a little moment here and take a moment and think about it. With our Harmony goals, we ask students to share highs, examples of how we've been kind, examples about how we've included others, examples about what we've done. Who can share a high about someone in this room that has shown a positive about that Optimist Creed today? Can someone share an example of something they've heard or seen today in the room? Might have to pick on Mark here. Someone who is, I know it's so nice to have you close by. Yes, you've got something.
The Wicked Witch of the North.
That's something I don't know about. And what did the Wicked Witch do?
I need, the Wicked Witch?
Yes.
She promotes the essay contest, and I need the names of all of the clubs that participate.
Well,
It's with the Wicked, I have a broom too, but it's at home.
but, okay, so you are promoting those goals and you're making them happen.
She was so enthusiastic, she was doing the oratorical, instead she was doing essays. So
Oh, they did a little
stole
switcheroo.
my thunder.
I love that. We do the essay contest in Point Loma with the Point Loma Optimists. And I'm telling you, the parents are so moved also by that. It is the most valuable thing you can do. So if you haven't done it, I'm with the Wicked Witch. We're going to promote that. So as a principal, I used to like to say, or Shannon used to like to say, students like to be informers. They like to tell us everything that is going wrong. They like to, others might call it tattling. But in Margaret Johnson's world, they're just informants. But here's the deal. You can spend your whole day having kids do what they developmentally do, tell you everything that's wrong, or you can have goals. And we can talk about how we're reaching those goals. Does that make sense? Let's start talking positive about what's going on in our schools. Let's start talking positive about what's going on in our country and how we treat each other. Now, we have lows though. If we're not meeting our Harmony goals in the classroom, that's how we help students solve problems. So we're pulling away that informing and looking towards the positive. So I fell in love with that Optimist Creed, and Shannon and I have been doing a lot of talk about that in our work. So I thank you for living that creed. So let's talk about a few more strategies because we want to make sure to get through them all. This one you can use in your club meetings. It's called Meetup. And I want to see if everybody's with us. Please say Meetup.
Meetup.
All right, let's look at a meetup. We are gathered in a circle. We encourage you when you meet that all of your eyes can meet one another in a circle. And that's where we have 4 key steps that we do in a meetup. I'm going to guess you have all these steps in place, but let's talk about what they are. So a meetup is about promoting community, and we're encouraging students to respectfully listen and respond. We're working on communication and collaboration, and we're practicing problem solving. And our students, our youth, the organizations we're working with need to be problem solvers together, or we're not going to make it. So meetup, we start with a greeting, we share, we do a community check-in. We talk about our Harmony goals. You talk about your your creed or your objectives or what you're doing, and we end with a quick connection. So here's an example of an end of with a quick connection, and that's what's your favorite way to relax. I'm actually sharing something else about Ocean Beach where I live. It's a real big yoga place. Although we came into Sioux Falls and they had a yoga room. I thought that was so cool. I've never seen that at an airport. So we have a meetup. And meetup are those steps again. Do you all have a special greeting when you meet each other? Do you go around the room and greet each other? Oh, you're going to do that from now on. How are you doing? It could be a high five. It could be a greeting in another language. It could be a fist bump. It could be for students a hand clap. And then we stop and we share. We select 2 or 3 people to share. You might say, I've got a new grandchild. Or I was just at my local school. It's that sharing time. Then we take a look at our Optimist Creed, or we take a look at our Harmony goals, and we end up with a quick connection card. And I am going to share that we are going to make those quick connection cards available, right? Yes, ma'am. Do a quick shout out. How are you going to make available?
Quick.
They have been gracious enough to give us, I think, what, 10, 12?
Yes.
Boxes. We're going to do a really quick auction off during lunch, hopefully.
Great.
We'll figure out a time.
They're coming to you. Can I share quick connection cards are also perfect for your holiday gatherings. In my sweet family, we appear to be of different political parties. May I say, it is best to stay away from those discussions and instead use a quick connection card, such as let's talk about our favorite Christmas tradition with Mom and Dad. Let's talk about the last TV series you watched that you enjoyed. Just saying, you want a copy of those quick connection cards for all things Harmony in your life. So you talked a little bit, Mark, about our Harmony lessons and activities. We have the awesome Shannon here sharing. We have lessons and activities. Again, no cost for any of the youth groups that you work with that go all the way through 6th grade. We are working with boys and girls clubs internationally, nationally, the whole United States. All of the boys and girls clubs are going to be using the meetup and buddy up strategies with those quick connections. Can you imagine? 6,500 boys and girls clubs will be using Sanford Harmony. Pretty exciting, isn't it? So that's one of my special accounts, so I'm so thrilled about that. So here's, again, our units, diversity and inclusion, which we have storybooks for our youngest children, empathy and critical thinking, communication, problem solving, and peer relationships. Sure sounds a lot like the goals of working with youth that you're doing as well. There's our little stories about Z and the Treehouse Friends. I loved how the signals, sometimes we get our signals and our antennas crossed. And for our older students, we do a lot of role playing. I contend that older students say, look at me, but don't look at me. You know, they want to have those discussions with us. They need our mentoring to talk about peer pressure and stereotyping, understanding different perspectives. Just because I saw problems in a certain way doesn't mean my way is the only way. Everybody has an important contribution to make. This is just an example of a game. Then we have a unit on empathy and critical thinking. It has a lot of sections because we do need to understand others and we do need to develop empathy. We have a unit on problem solving. So with our youngest children, we stop, talk, think of solutions and try them out. Now this may be more like a meeting that you have. We have different ways of solving problems. Are you an owl? Always seeking a solution first. We have a director like that. the shark, the conflict controller? Or are you the turtle? You might avoid conflict. Now you might think that I'm saying, oh, one of those is better than the other. They're all important in different problem-solving situations. So through our units, we help students develop that. So we want you to know too, we have a cost-free Harmony social emotional learning application. The storybooks, the parents can use the storybooks at home with students. They can do buddy ups, work with quick connections. It's a really cool app, no cost. And then here's our professional learning library that Shannon talked about. Teachers love it. We'll go out, we have an incredible training team, and we've been a big part of that team in our time with Harmony, where we train youth organizations or teachers, or we have everything online as well. And wonderings, we're getting to questions, and then we have a question for the whole group. Any wonderings that you might have about Harmony? Any thoughts? I know you all want to say, make it happen. Right? For our region, we're going to make that happen together. So we're going to be here at lunch as we raffle off those incredible cards. So here's 5 easy tips how you might introduce Harmony to your districts and organizations. And Shannon is going to make sure, and I'm going to make sure, and Gabe, we have a handout to give you exactly what this has. It's registering, it's what we call a Harmony landing page, specifically for this Optimus group. So if you register for that link, we'll send you more information, but they won't flood you with information. It's just to get it out there to you as a participant in this event. We have a great website. It's about to become awesome this spring. We're putting, Danny wanted some more exciting work done to it, so that's in progress right now. We actually have a Harmony YouTube channel. If you are a YouTube watcher, you'll go to that channel and find even more about what Harmony looks like in classrooms. And then we have our regional university folks, and so that's Gabe's role. We have universities that we work with around the country and looking for others that are interested in working with us that help spread Harmony and strategic accounts advisors. And here's what we can do. We have teams that can help you talk about Harmony. We can get you materials. We can schedule webinars to share with, whether it's a school district or a special after-school organization you're working with. We can provide sample materials and brochures. So again, here's our group. You're going to have that map. And we're going to ask you, Shannon, do you want to lead this part? We were thinking about it last night.
We were, because I think reflection is so important, especially as you guys are thinking about the beginning of your year, coming October 1st. Finding somebody that maybe isn't from your actual organization or where you're located, and have a quick conversation about how you can promote Sanford Harmony to the youth organizations that you serve. Where might you see this fitting in? So giving you maybe 5 minutes right now just to have that opportunity to branch out to someone and see if you guys come up with some ideas, and we'd love to hear that.
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, we'd love to hear that. So
helps us be better.
Go ahead, you can get up on your feet, or if you want to turn to the person next to you and start that conversation, that would be great.
Thank you.
Partner with them. Aware of it.
Yeah, so this is the last activity.
Good, hands it or? Yeah.
Time and a half. But I would love to hear anybody share. Did you feel, were there any aha moments, or, oh, I have an idea, I can do this? And would you be willing to share with us? All right.
Well, the first one that came to mind here is we have a real strong after-school program.
Yes.
And I think that would be just the perfect place for that. Great. And she's a member, but she's actually running the kids program today, so we'll catch her when she gets back.
Right. That's so everybody heard that one, after school organizations that you work with.
We thought about home daycares and also homeschooling.
Excellent. And let's see, we'll pass the mic. Okay.
Mr. Introvert.
Yeah, Mr. Introvert.
He's gonna dance.
Is this on? Okay. I'm gonna dance and sing, show you that now. No. I'm part of a statewide organization in South Dakota called the South Dakota School Age Care Alliance. And we try to provide professional training opportunities for all after-school and out-of-school time programs. There are agencies like us, maybe in Minnesota and also in North Dakota and in Winnipeg, that are working with programs already after school, trying to provide kind of a collaboration that you may be able to hook into to provide this program to others.
That is perfect. Anybody else have an idea? Okay, perfect.
The church groups that, or the churches that have the daycares in them, is to go to them and promote it there. Or even the daycare facilities that have daycare in them. I believe there's a couple in our community.
Those are excellent suggestions with the churches and daycares. We do know we have one of our universities here is working with a couple of our local reservation tribes and working, and to get in with the group, we had to build a lot of trust, and I really have to hand it to our folks at the university level because it is happening on some of our local reservations here as well. Yes?
I can talk about Get started, Mark. Just a suggestion, we in South Dakota, and particularly Rapid City, have a hard time getting in the door and presenting kind of information that we're talking about here. My suggestion is, if you are a junior achievement person like I am, you have your foot in the door already. So you can visit with the principals, they're happy to talk to you, the teachers and whatever else. So think about junior achievement as well, because it does get you in the door.
Thank you so much. And you said a secret sauce word for us. You are door openers. You are door openers for our youth in so many ways. It's just knowing one person. Big hand up there.
Head Start, early Head Start.
Head Start, absolutely. And Head Start has their eyes on Sanford Harmony. And if you know of a group, we would love to make that contact. What's beautiful is that we have the universities here that can reach right out, and Shannon and I are here available. Shannon, very, very Minnesota in her work, and I am just here to support all of the great things the universities are doing and looking into our Canada work. So we can't thank you enough for making us feel like home. Shannon said it to me at breakfast this morning. There is a magic about the Midwest. Indeed, is what we say, and it isn't just ice cream. So, thank you for inviting Harmony, and I thank you on behalf of Denny Sanford as well. And we're going to be here to answer questions and promote Harmony and make sure you have your handouts and everything you need. So, thank you so very much. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret and Shannon, and they will be here all afternoon, and so if you could pull them away and just a special question or special request. A little bit of housekeeping. There's 4 clubs that have individuals here, but they have not turned in, their president is not here, and they need to turn in a president designate form to me. I have them up here. They are Bismarck, Grand Forks, Prior Lake Savage, and South Winnipeg. Also,
I did right at the registration table. Want it again?
Don't argue with her.
Okay, and then I would also like to have a couple members from St. Cloud and from Rapid City come see me. And you can go to lunch now.
I spoke on